Yeah, I mean, I look at it kind of like, personal training. I came into that space before solar, and a lot of times people would come, they'd join the gym, they'd go through that initial assessment, and then they kind of would be like, all right, that's great. Now they have their little free workout plan. They're like, now I know what I need to do. And it's helping them see like, hey, but you've known that 5 other times and you're still sitting here today and you haven't achieved your goals. Maybe you need help. Alex Hormozi says the only thing that separates manipulation and helping people is intent. And, even if I used to manipulate people into going to personal training, but because they had failed 5 times before and I saved them from getting on diabetes medicine and they had never been happier and they made more money at work and they were thrilled with it. But at the end of the day, you could call it manipulation. But I think the difference is the intent. And we have to be okay asking the hard questions and kind of pushing on homeowners that, are you really gonna wait? Is that really what's in your best interest? You've seen the photos, your roof's not gonna get any better shape, and asking some of those hard questions and being a little bit more suggestive. Some people would call it pushy, but I would call it honest. And I think in the past, because people were like, here, take my money, it was a lot more just like, oh, yep, you're definitely gonna buy a roof. Okay, great, here's why I'm awesome. And then they would sometimes pick us. But now a lot of people, I mean, literally just in the last 2 to 3 months, they're thinking what's in their best interest is waiting 6 months. And if you're a roof professional and you know that roof is 21 years old, it's not in their best interest. We're gonna have another price increase. They're gonna get more interior damage and they're gonna be in the same place they are now. Interest rates aren't gonna change much. Nothing's gonna change in 6 months except it's gonna go up a little bit more. And so they need to do the roof today. And if we have to be a little forceful with it, obviously in a professional manner, then we're still doing what's best for them. And I firmly believe that. It's role play. I mean, 100% role play. And what I would say to kind of your first point of that, the salesperson out there that just wants to do the roof for the deductible, that's going to get uncomfortable really quick as well. Because like I said, we just worked this St. Louis storm. The highest deductible we saw was $15,000. We had an $8,900 deductible, a $7,600. I mean, these are retail roof prices almost for a deductible. And that storm, it demolished siding and roofing. So, it's a $30,000, $40,000 claim and the guy has a $15,000 deductible. It's not like he can go out there and replace some window screens on his own and cover his deductible. You have to be comfortable having these tough conversations because that's the space we're living in now. And we're going to see more and more of it. But this was the first storm we worked. We've done stuff, after the hurricane in Florida, and we saw sometimes here and there, but this was the first one where it was just like almost, and these weren't huge homes. I mean, it was like a $250,000 home, like $250,000, $300,000 with a, $9,000 deductible. So I can only imagine, when that first storm hits Dallas and it's a 70 square roof, do they have a $25,000 deductible? So it's here. I mean, we've been talking about an RSRA, you've seen it on like Facebook, et cetera, but this was the first storm where it was like every other one we started expecting $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 deductibles and we're surprised when it was $1,000. But it really comes down to role play and just reps of that one specific conversation. Like one little thing that we just implemented is we used to ask at the end of kind of our presentation, we'd say, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your experience so far? And let's say they would say 9 or 10, a trial close, we would say, okay, sounds like you really want to do business with Reimagine Roofing. Now we've changed it to, sounds like you've made the decision to use Reimagine Roofing. So we put a little bit more of oomph in it to psychologically in their brain say, yes, I made the decision now to work with Reimagine, and then they confirm it. So little things like that is how we've been working, but that's uncomfortable to say to somebody because what if they say no? What if they say no? Like, then what do I do? And then, okay, great, let's role play it, And so having the team role play that one sentence 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, so it feels comfortable when they say it rather than, role play the whole presentation one time and only role play that, that ending one time as well. Like, no, let's role play the uncomfortable spot 20 times. So then you're comfortable when it comes up. We do use some AI. They put their call transcripts into ChatGPT, and then we have like a format that we put into ChatGPT that says, hey, this is what it's supposed to be like. And then it will spit out the formula along with analysis as well. So that's good. The other thing is really self-assessments as well. Like actually the team right now is on self-assessments. So they listen to their own calls. And then The new thing that I just started this week is once a week they have to pitch in my office. So I set up a little like pitch station. So once a week they have to come in there and pitch live. We still listen to calls and et cetera, but I want them to feel a little bit of that tension, a little bit of that, like that adrenaline. It's like, okay, look alive. But then also each week they bring their best call and their worst call to be evaluated by the sales manager. So bring me what you think is your absolute best call. And if that's a C, okay, we have problems. Like if you think this is your best, so at least I know what you think is supposed to be happening, because then it gives me insight. Okay, are the other ones you're just not following? Or do you honestly think that on question number 3, you should say this, So it gives us insight into like, hey, do we need more training or do we need more effort? And I always think that's important to understand. And then the worst call gives us insight into, okay, let's figure out how did this become the worst call? And that's what we really try to train on is like, let's listen to it. Okay, you see right here? This is where the guy started asking you the questions. He could hear the fear in your voice. And then from 6 minutes to 32 minutes, you just got completely bulldogged every single step of the way like this. But this is what happened right here at 5 minutes and 45 seconds to 6:01. You lost control right here. And then look what happened. We don't need to listen to the other 26 minutes. Like, don't do this next time. That's the benefit of having those recorded calls is like, we can just look at that and see this is exactly what happened. And then once that happens, like you'll never do it again. It'll just be like, okay, man, you see that coming 100 miles out if anybody ever tries to kind of take control of the call again, or, you stumbled or whatever the situation was, it becomes a real learning experience.